Hi, everybody. Thanks for showing up. It's July 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to deliver a talk to you about my main messages for mental health. For your own mental health, wherever you are, I'll talk about my own experience with schizophrenia. I'll also talk, and doing really well with schizophrenia. I'm hoping that could be a real source of hope for some people. I'll also talk about mental health in developing countries. I am a Canadian. I had a pretty average childhood. Nothing too bad or too exceptional happened to me. I went into engineering in university, but as soon as I went off to university, I did not feel the best. This was 1989-90, and mental health wasn't talked about a whole lot. Well, mental health was talked about a bit, but mental illness was not. And anyway, I muddled through university. I could still do a lot of things. I got mostly A's in engineering. I bicycled across Canada, which is a whole nother story. That really put some wind in my sails. I did a triathlon in university, but every year I had some more symptoms coming on, but I could still do all these things at the same time. When the disease hit, it hit hard. In early 1994, I said, I need help. And I went to the hospital. They took me into the psych ward. I was in the psych ward in 1994 a number of times. I was in a group home after that for 3 years. And after that, I've been living on my own ever since, from 97 till today. And I've owned a home for 13 years or something. I had the same job with the government for 20 plus years. I had a number of cars. I did things. I was suffering from severe to mild over those years. I improved every single week for 20 plus years. Every single week. In fact, in 2012, I started noticing improvements in my health more than once a week, sometimes every day, sometimes twice a day. And it wasn't until 2016, 2017, when I first saw the first piece of content on the web about mental health in developing countries. My heart, the whole time I was going through schizophrenia in a relatively peaceful part of the world, in a sleepy part of Canada, my heart went out to people in war-torn countries, in extreme poverty, who had mental illness to go through as well. They're my heroes. How do you do that? I could barely get through my own disease in a peaceful part of the world. I was never homeless. I always had a good roof over my head, food, clothing, shelter. I always had those. And so I started studying mental health in developing countries, and I made a website. In 2018, I put it online. As far as I know, it's the only website of its kind in the world. If you go looking for the groups helping people with mental illness in developing countries, they are scattered across the web. I've put them all on one site. You don't have to do the digging. I'm sure there are more groups out there, and I'm hoping there'll be more made as time goes on, as years go on, and I can add them to my site. It's mindaid.ca, mindaid.ca. And it doesn't get a whole lot of traction as of now, as of July 2022. I'm hoping it will get more as time goes on. It could be a hub for the cause. And I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of my recovery. I'm proud that I did not give up. I felt like giving up many, many times. Many, many times. I needed thousands of hands to count on hands. To count on so many fingers the number of times I didn't know how I was going to make it. All those years of recovery, how was I going to do it? How was I going to make it through the next few minutes? It's tough. It's very tough. But I've got two messages for people, two different audiences. One is for people who don't have mental illness. I try to stress upon them how difficult it is. It's like being circled by sharks. The terror goes through you. Someone comes up in a rowboat. They say, "Hi, Matthew, how are you?" Oblivious to what's going on. What's new with you? Seen any good movies? Want to go for an ice cream? And you're sitting there thinking, you want to scream at the top of your lungs, somebody please get me out of here. Throw me a rope, throw me a buoy, something, get me out of here. Stop it now. Stop this. I saw a video of the Japanese tsunami, and there's a homemade video on YouTube. They were some people were stranded, had gone up onto a hill above the water. They were watching their town, houses toppling over other houses as this wave of water came through. And one Japanese man kept saying over and over in subtitles in English, he was saying, "Please make it stop. Please make it stop." He said it over and over, the same words, "Please make it stop." That's been the background music of my mind for 20 plus years. It's always there, ever present, like the background music in a movie that you don't always pay attention to, but it's there and it's affecting you. Please make it stop. When will this end? It was always there, 16 hours a day. And from severe to mild over all those years. Good news. February 11th of 2021, my symptoms stopped. I'm still on my medication. I don't plan to go off it, but my symptoms stopped. It was this jarring sensation, emotionally, physically, visually, of just everything stopping and everything just in its place. I wasn't being bombarded by stimuli, audio or visual stimuli, and I had feelings of peace and contentment. I did it. You could say, well, Matthew, you're managing your disease finally. You haven't fully recovered, and there's different ways you can define recovery. For me, I take a pill once a night, and I try to live a healthy lifestyle like we all should, and I don't have symptoms. What a gift. In the early years of my disease, I felt like I was being ball and chained to this drug, to this medication. I did not want to be on my medication. But at the same time, I knew it was one of the very few things I could do that would actually give me a chance of success, of stopping the pain. So I took it. And I don't know how many years went by, 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know. But at some point, you just sort of get used to taking medication. At 22, having to be diagnosed with a terrible disease and put on a drug is a lot for me. And anyway, now all I have to do is pop a pill. It's not that big a deal for me. I can still do so many things. Anosognosia. A lot of people don't believe they're sick, and it doesn't have to be from mental illness. It could be from other things. Anosognosia. If you go to my website, mindaid.ca, there's a button there called Free Tips. And it's a list of my top mental health books, articles. There's a brain music CD. Or you can get it on your phone too, Amazon or Spotify maybe too, I think. And they're my top things that I recommend to people. I have been recommending to people for years. And if you go there, you'll see something on anosognosia. There's a man, Dr. Javier Amador. He teaches people how to talk to their loved one who has schizophrenia or bipolar or something else. It doesn't even have to be a mental illness. And he teaches them how to talk to them so that they will willingly take medication to get themselves better. And Dr. Javier Amador, the link's there on my site. I think it's leapinstitute.org is his own website. Look up avatar therapy. I never hallucinated. 75% of people with schizophrenia hallucinate. I never did. I was in the 25% that didn't. Avatar therapy is, in my opinion, a godsend. It can stop hallucinations fully or partially. It doesn't work for some people, but it can work in a matter of weeks. Weeks, not years or decades. Weeks. And what it does, it uses a computer program with an avatar. The person with hallucinations dresses up the avatar so it represents their own hallucinations. There's a therapist in another room on a computer that they can't see him, and he talks through the avatar to the person. The person gets to talk back to their hallucinations, stands up to them, saying, "I'm not going to let you run my life anymore." And in a matter of weeks, their hallucinations are gone or partially gone, which I think is just phenomenal. I mentioned this to somebody who has schizophrenia. He said, "Matthew, thank you so much for telling me this." Just a matter of weeks before, he had said, "You know what, I'm going to stand up to my hallucinations." And he did. And his mom said she was a bit worried about him in the next room. She didn't know what was going on. When she learned, she thought, "Oh, okay, I guess it was, I understand now," because it's intense. And he said, "Yeah, my hallucinations went away. partially. And I'm guessing he probably tried it again. Hallucinations can be maddening for people. The other audience that I have, back to my previous point, is for people who have gone through mental illness. I don't need to tell them how bad it is. What I want to tell you guys is how you can get through it. You can. It's I know it's tough. I've been there. And I'm trying to stress to you that when you want to give up, keep going. I call it hope beyond hope. When you've given up hope, there's something else in life. I don't know what you want to call it. Hope, fate, chance, luck, the universe. I don't know what you want to call it, but there's other things at work helping you stay alive. And the Al-Anon does this. The family members of people of alcoholics, they people who are struggling, watching their family member go through alcoholism. They say you have to trust that there's other forces at work helping your family member get through that. And I want to tell you that there are. Navy SEALs are taught in their training. They're taken to the brink of physical and mental exhaustion. They say, I give up. I can't do this anymore. And they say, nope, you are capable of 20 times more than you think you are. Mark Devine, he's on my free tips list on my website. Mark Devine, he's got a number of books out. He trains Navy SEALs. He creates Navy SEAls out of regular soldiers. And he teaches them you are capable of 20 times more. He says it's a semi-random number, but it gets across the point. Oh, so those Navy SEALs, when they're done, brink of physical and mental exhaustion, and they think I can't give 1 second more. They say, no, not only can you give double what you just gave, you can give 20 times more. 20. Try to remember that. Everyone has that. You have that. If you're going through mental illness, you have that. Everyone's been given that. Don't give up. There's a study done by actually Zach Williams, son of Robin Williams. He just put out a thing today in the United States, 988. It's a phone number. It's a new line available now for people in mental health crisis, available all over the U.S. 988. Just phone that, 988. And he said in his article in Time magazine that he wrote for it, that it's been well studied, well documented, that the majority of people who attempt suicide and live don't want to do it. They don't. There's Kevin Briggs. He's got a TED Talk out. He was a motorcycle patrolman of the Golden Gate Bridge. He looks for jumpers. He says in his TED Talk, many people, when they're asked, what were you thinking the moment when you jumped when there is no return? Many of them, he said, instantly regretted it. And they wanted to live. Their chemistry changed in a split second from I want to die to I want to live. I want to live. Kevin Hines, a suicide advocate, he jumped off the bridge. He instantly regretted it. He says he knows to this day he will never die by suicide because he knows he can keep going. When the rug's being pulled out from underneath you, you feel like you're stepping through a trap door all day long and you're falling and falling. That's the way I felt. You don't know how you're going to do it, how you're going to make it through the next so many minutes. Just keep going. There's so many factors at work that'll help you out. So many. Although you can't feel them. I know it feels like there's nothing helping you, but there are many things helping you. So many things. Verbal judo. It's what police officers use to deal with people, with words, not weapons. Verbal judo, it's a book, The Gentle Art of Persuasion. There are a number of verbal judo books out there that he's written. Verbal Judo, The Gentle Art of Persuasion. It's on my free tips list by George Thompson. And it's helped my life incredibly in dealing with people. Psychologists often say that people, when they come in to talk to them, they often talk about the people in their life giving them problems. If you can get rid of the people problems, that can limit your stress. That's one of the things I try to tell people. I won't talk about medications a whole lot. I don't talk about medications a whole lot. I know there are better ones out there as time goes on. Therapy, I won't talk about therapy a whole lot. What I talk about are just general life skills, mental health skills, physical health skills, social skills, because I think there's all these factors that just cause you stress in each day. If you can limit some of them, you limit your stress. You can limit the number of factors giving you depression or making you feel bad about certain things. The number of things rolling around in your head making you think, oh, I'm not this or I'm not that. So that's what I'll be talking about. Verbal judo, it's helped me immensely in dealing with people. The Survivor Personality, it's a book by Al Siebert. He studied people who've gone through the Holocaust, natural disasters, cancer. He says people generally fall into 3 categories. They say when they go through something horrible, my life is awful. They go into a downward spiral. I can't do this. 20 years later, they still are suffering. The second category says I'm going to get back to where I was before. And they do. They get back, but there's no growth. This is talked about also in the book, What Doesn't Kill Us by Stephen Joseph. It's a study of post-traumatic growth. And the third category says, I'm going to get better, but I'm going to take my horrible things, my trauma, and I'm going to become better. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to grow. That's where you get the growth. And the cancer patients do something similar in that third category. They say, Doc, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to take your opinion, but I'm going to get a second opinion and a third opinion. They take the recovery into their own hands. They are sometimes, not always, sometimes labeled difficult patients because they say, nope, you're not doing that to me. I know what's best for my body. I've done all the research. I've taken all these experts' opinions. This is what's going to happen. I'm running the show because doctors can make mistakes. As much for all the good work they do, it can happen. And lives can be lost from a doctor's mistake, as sad as that is. So those are some of my best tips that I give to people. Look up Alan Carr. He's a great one for addiction. I won't talk about addiction a whole lot. I've had no experience with it, except for friends who have had addiction. Alan Carr, he's got books on how to stop smoking, drinking, that sort of thing. Mental health in developing countries. I'm trying to get this in under 20 minutes. Mental health in developing countries. There are, on my website, mindaid.ca, there are 7 nonprofits that I found that you can donate or fundraise for. If you want to start your own fundraiser, they'll take your money. And they help people get basic mental health care in developing countries. There's 7 there. They're in the donate section on my website. And there's other things on my website too. There's a Facebook group I've made if you want to meet with like-minded people trying to help the cause, put on fundraisers, whether it's a bake sale to starting your own charity or social business or fundraiser to help the cause. In December of 2021, I announced a fundraiser through Strong Minds, one of those 7 nonprofits, and I'm trying to raise $1.8 million by the end of 2022. It's a big goal. I may fail miserably, I know that, but I'm wanting to try. And I know some people say you shouldn't say try, like Yoda. There is no try. Do. And that'll help 10,000 women with depression in Africa get treatment. $180 per woman per year. 10,000 women. $1.8 million. I'm trying to raise that. If you could help in any way, that would be wonderful. I've got a fundraiser for that on my website under Join 2022 Challenge. I'm challenging people to raise that money. Donate or fundraise for yourself. You can start your own personal fundraiser underneath my fundraiser. I'm using the Strong Minds platform for that. They have their own fundraising platform. So there's the MindAid 2022 Challenge. You can start your own fundraiser underneath that. And that would be wonderful. Don't give up. No matter where you are in the world, don't give up. Life is wonderful. I'm getting to experience that again. I have peace and contentment. Yes, sometimes I get frustrated. I'm in the normal range of emotions again. I didn't know if I'd ever get here. I was never guaranteed this. Never guaranteed. No one said, Matthew, you're going to succeed from this. You're going to recover. It may take a while, but you will. No one ever said that. It happened to me. Maybe it can happen to you. Maybe. Don't give up.